You wake up each morning, go through the motions, dress, eat, scroll, respond, speak, repeat. You do what's expected. You perform the roles. You smile when required. You suffer in private. You convince yourself this is life. But Martin Heidegger would tell you, you have not yet begun to exist because you confuse functioning with being. You confuse motion with meaning. And what he asked, more than any other philosopher before him, was a question so terrifying, so piercing, so raw, that most people cannot hear it without trembling. What does it mean to be? Not to survive, not to succeed, not to be seen, but to truly, authentically, unapologetically be. Heidegger did not believe we were truly awake. He believed we were thrown into a world already in motion, full of language and systems and beliefs that were never ours, and that most of us never stop to question it. We fall into what he called das Man, the they. We speak because they speak. We believe what they believe. We desire what they desire. We think we are choosing, but we are merely echoing. Our identity is borrowed. Our thoughts are inherited. Our fears are recycled. And so our existence is not lived. It is managed, monitored, dull. We are not being. We are pretending. To truly be, Heidegger said, we must confront our thrownness, our facticity, the raw truth that we did not choose to be born. We were thrown into time, into culture, into history, into wounds that preceded us. And yet, this is not an excuse. It is a call. Because in the face of that thrownness, we are also given freedom. Freedom to ask, freedom to stand, freedom to break from the crowd and confront the mystery of being itself. But that confrontation requires something most never dare to face: death. Heidegger said, death is not merely the end of life. Death is the clearing in which life becomes visible. When you truly grasp the reality of your own death, not intellectually, but existentially, you are ripped out of the trance. You see clearly. You feel the weight of time. You realize that every distraction, every delay, every numbing behavior has been a way to avoid the terror and truth of your own finitude. And only in facing it can you live authentically. Authenticity, for Heidegger, is not about self-expression. It is not about being different for the sake of rebellion. It is about living with an awareness of being that comes from within, not from the they. It is about standing alone in the clearing, where nothing is guaranteed, where meaning is not inherited but created, where your choices are yours and yours alone. And most people cannot do this, because to live authentically is to be radically responsible. It means you cannot blame the system. You cannot hide behind religion, ideology, politics, trends. You must answer for your life. You must live as if your being matters. And you must do so without applause, without certainty, without guarantee of reward. That is the weight of being, and it is the only path to real freedom. Heidegger called us Dasein, being there. Human existence is the site where being reveals itself. But Dasein is not a label, it is a task. To be Dasein is to stand in the openness of being, to question not just what we do, but what it means to be at all. We are not things in the world. We are the questioners of the world. We are the beings who care. And care is not sentiment. It is the structure of our existence. We care about meaning, about future, about others, about the shape of our lives, and that care is what distinguishes us from everything else. But we forget this, because the world seduces us into forgetfulness, into busy schedules, into productivity, into distraction, and we become absorbed in the everyday. Heidegger called this the fallenness of Dasein, the tendency to flee from our own potential by immersing ourselves in what doesn't matter. Endless scrolling, meaningless chatter, pursuits that feel urgent but are empty. We fill the silence so we don't have to hear the question that never leaves. What am I doing here? And that is the gateway. That is the beginning of being. When you stop, when you listen, when you no longer look to the they for answers, when you stand in the clearing alone, exposed, and face the fact that one day you will not be. And in that space, you begin to see. You see that being is not a possession. It is not a status. It is not a role. Being is a miracle, and it is slipping away. Every breath is a countdown. Every sunrise is a reminder. Every goodbye carries with it the weight of finality. And if you don't feel that, you're not awake. If you don't feel the ache, you're not alive. To be is to tremble. To be is to burn. To be is to choose, not once but every day. To live as if your time matters. And yet most do not. Because it is easier to imitate than to stand. Easier to follow than to ask. Easier to be liked than to be true. So they become everyone but themselves. They wear masks so well they forget they are wearing them. And by the time death comes, they haven't lived. They've performed. And death for them is not just an end. It is a tragedy because they never faced it, never welcomed it as a teacher, never allowed it to strip away the trivial and reveal the real. But the one who lives with death in his heart, the one who walks each day with the awareness that this moment will never return, that man is free. Not because life is easy, but because he is awake. Awake to being, to the miracle of presence, to the beauty of authenticity, to the terrifying, liberating truth that this life is yours, and no one is coming to live it for you. Heidegger's philosophy is not a comfort. It is a confrontation. He doesn't give you answers. He gives you silence. He gives you space. He gives you the clearing and says, now choose. Choose what to believe. Choose how to live. Choose how to die. Because one day, you will. And the only question that will matter is, did you truly exist? Or did you just blend in? To be truly is to resist the inertia of conformity, to resist the ease of distraction, to resist the temptation to settle for a life that fits, but doesn't burn. You were not born to be reasonable. You were born to be real. And being is not found in comfort zones. It is found in the fire of awareness, the fire of solitude, the fire of truth. And that fire will consume the parts of you that were never yours to begin with. The borrowed opinions, the forced smiles, the quiet despair of a life unlived. It will burn them away until only you remain. The real you, the silent witness, the eternal question, the one who can finally stand in the clearing and say, I am here. This is what Heidegger meant. This is what it means to be. It is not about answers. It is about standing in the mystery with open eyes and open hands. It is about dropping the script and stepping into the unknown. It is about becoming the author of your own life, even if the ink is blood and the pages are stained with uncertainty. Because the alternative is not safety. The alternative is death in disguise. It is a quiet coffin of routine, a numbing sleepwalk through years that vanish like smoke. So ask yourself, not what do I do, but who am I when no one is watching? Who am I when the roles fall away? When there is no applause, no approval, no echo? Who am I in the face of death? Because that is the self that matters. That is the self that is capable of being. Everything else is just noise. Heidegger warned that technology, modernity, even language itself could trap us. That the more we label, the more we describe, the more we organize without questioning, the more we forget. We forget the wonder. We forget the strangeness. We forget that being is not a fact. It is a mystery we stand inside of every moment. And the moment you forget that, you begin to fall. Fall into the they, fall into the mechanical, fall into a world where nothing matters because everything is explained. But explanation is not existence. Description is not experience. And only those who stay close to the mystery can live with awe. So do not run from the question. Do not drown it in distractions. Let it haunt you. Let it break you. Let it hollow you out until there is room for truth, until there is room for being. And when it comes, when the silence parts and the light touches the ground where you stand, you will know. Not with words, not with thoughts, but with presence. You will know what it means to be, and it will not make you powerful. It'll make you humble. It will bring you to your knees in gratitude, because you will see that everything you were chasing was already here, in this breath, in this second, in this strange, fleeting, beautiful moment we call life. So stop performing, stop postponing, stop pretending, and start being. Not for them, not for the world, but for the one thing that will never come again. This life, this chance, this sliver of time between two eternities. Live it, burn for it, and become.